Good afternoon and welcome to the SRUC Elmwood Professional Cookery live event. My name is Caroline Manzi and I'm the Marketing and Student Recruitment Officer at the Elmwood campus. And today I'm joined by four of my colleagues from the Professional Cookery department who will shortly introduce themselves, and then we'll have a small presentation. And after the presentation, any questions that you're writing in this afternoon, if you use the Q&A box, and we'll try our very best to answer them during this event. So I'll now pass you over to Ros.
Hi, welcome everybody, as Caroline said, to this afternoon's Open Day live event. A bit different than we used to do in the past, but we have actually done these events before, and so we should be quite good at it now, but we probably won't be. I think I've frozen actually, I'm just looking at myself on the screen. The aim of them this afternoon is just to tell you a little bit about the courses that we deliver at Elmwood and the units that are involved in the courses, also these sort of extracurricular activities that we do along with the courses, and of course to meet the team. So my name's Ros Graham, I'm the course tutor for HMD in professional cookery even, and I also deliver theory units to level 1 and 2 and the HMC in professional cookery. I do also do some short courses for REHIS as well. So I'll just pass you over now to my colleague Corinne. She'll tell you a bit about herself.
Hi, my name is Karin Brand and I am course tutor for the level 1 diploma, but I also teach across all the year groups in practical and theory sessions. The practical sessions are mainly based on front of house operations, bar training and barista. I'll pass you over to Mark Barker.
Hi, my name is Mark Barker. I'm the course tutor for Level 2 Diploma in Professional Cookery. I also help deliver the practical skills for the Level 1 Introduction to Professional Cookery. And apart from my role, I also work as part of the food and drink team at SRUC, working on new product development and food and drink research. And I'll pass you over to my colleague, Willie Balfour.
Hello there, my name is Willie Balfour. I'm not as busy as the rest of the team by the sounds of it. I'm just responsible for some of the practical, along with my colleague Mark, most of the practicals delivered at the Elmwood campus. I'm also the course tutor for the HNCs. So I'd like to take you through our little presentation. So what we have is, on the campus we have 4 different year groups. We have our level 1 diploma, which is an introduction for people coming into the hospitality industry. Level 2, that's a stage up, it's like a staircase, so it's a next step up. The things get a little bit more complicated, a little bit more in depth. That leads on to our 3rd year HNC, then progression on to our HND. So I'd like to tell you a little bit about the course. So our City and Guilds Level 1 Diploma in Professional Cookery, that consists of practical skills kitchen. What's involved with that is that the course is predominantly a practical based course. So it's an introduction to the different types of foods, how to prepare the foods, cooking the foods, and some presentation skills. And then you'll learn about matching up different flavours and textures to produce an overall dish. You'll do that through the practical kitchen with myself and my colleague Mark. Introduction to kitchen equipment. Well, it's a kitchen, an industrial kitchen, slightly different to what you'll find in the house. The equipment is larger. It's a bit more basically fiercer. There's a lot of different equipment in there. We'll show you how to use that correctly and what it's actually used for with regards to the preparation of foods. The REHIS Elementary goes hand in hand with all food practices. So we show you the practices that's in there. You'll get a certificate with regards to that, how to work safely with food to cut back on contamination and passing on any harmful bacteria. Healthier foods and special diets. Again, there's more foods available to people. People are eating healthier, so it's understanding what we could cut back on with regards to salt and heavy sauces, special diets people have. They may be allergic to things like nuts, shellfish, gluten. So it's understanding all the aspects that go with a special diet and how you prepare these foods. Introduction to employability in the hospitality and catering industry. There's a lot of different genres out there, from food trucks to 5-star hotels. It's about understanding how these industries work, what it takes to actually run them, the staffing levels, and what's involved with the whole hospitality industry. Health and safety, again, that's paramount. It's about understanding it's a busy environment, it's a dangerous environment if you're not careful. So it's understanding how to keep yourself and others around you safe while working in the kitchen. Front of house operations, again, you could be a fantastic chef, but it's all about your customers. So it's dealing with customers, how to correctly set tables, how to serve drinks, match drinks up, understanding what makes the whole industry tick with regards to that. And then we have hospitality events, and that's working as part of a group with your peers, where you'll decide on an event and you'll carry out that event to members of the public once we open our restaurants. So I'll pass you on to my colleague Mark, and he'll give you a little insight into our level 2 course.
Cheers, thanks for that, Willie. The level 2 course that focuses, as well as the cookery processes, it also looks at the ingredients as well. It looks at the preparation, cookery, and also the functionality. There are 10 basic areas that are covered. They are stock, soups and sauces, where we look at basic preparations, cookery uses, types, derivatives, functionality. Fruit and vegetable, cookery and preparation. Meat and offal, classification, cuts. Poultry, again, classification and cuts. Fish and shellfish, classification, cuts, uses and cookery. Rice, pasta, grains and egg dishes. Hot and cold desserts, paste products, cake biscuits and sponges, and fermented dough products. There are also assessments carried out at various stages during the year. There are 8 practical B tasks that are done midway through the year, and they range from preparing a pasta dish to risottos to choux pastry. There are 10 underpinning closed book assessment question papers to do. We go with underpinning the stock, soups and sauces right the way through to fermented dough products, and there's also 2 synoptic assessments, one 3-hour focused on the pastry and desserts, and one 5-hour hot and cold kitchen. They also cover healthier foods and special diets, as you have done in level 1, employment in the hospitality and catering industry, food safety, catering operations, costs and menu planning. Again, at looking at writing menus, different types of menus, different types of kitchens, kitchen brigades, staffing, food safety, health and safety, recess, elementary food hygiene, and also while you're on the level 2, you get a chance to do the City and Guilds barista skills. The level 2 diploma is a really, really good stepping stone onto HNC and HND, and I'll pass you back over to my colleagues now to explain more about the HNC, HND.
Hi, it's Karin here. So the first couple of units that we've got there on the list is hospitality supervision. So during that unit, you'll be looking at the role of a hospitality supervisor, and you will take on this role as part of your assessment, and you also deliver a short training skills session to one of your peers. It's a really good unit, over 2 blocks. The Scottish licensing law, this unit is based on law and legislation in Scotland with regards to alcohol sales on licensed premises. The unit's based on a series of case studies which you will write reports for. And I'll just pass you on to Roz to tell you about the next couple of units.
Hi, yeah, so I teach the next 2 units on the HNC, so it's food classification and purchase. This is consists of 2 reports, one on a perishable product and one on a non-perishable product. You look at the impacts on the availability of that product, so thinking from political, economical, climatic and seasonal impacts. Also, you look at where and how it's grown or produced and how it's manufactured. You're thinking about preservation and storage methods and quality points, and then you look at the documentation involved in purchasing the product. The intermediate hygiene is a progression from the elementary hygiene, so it's more of a supervisory level qualification. So you investigate the contamination hazards that could occur in food and what would happen if it did, and then you consider controls that could be put in place to stop the contamination and form part of a food safety management system, and then look at all the documentation and legislation relating to the food safety. Okay, now I think I'm passing back to Willie to explain about the practical units.
Right, so first of all, we have sweets and desserts. That is what it says on the tin. You'll learn about all the different desserts, pastries, how to present these different desserts, how to produce them, the garnishes that go with them, the flavour combinations, like the first and second year, their introduction into sweets and desserts, but this is taking it a step further where you actually learn how to present your own desserts, and that has an assessment at the end of the year, so it gains your knowledge. And what you have to do is you have to come up with an original hot dessert and an original cold dessert for 4 people. No such thing as an original one, but that's what you would change a particular dessert, make it your own presentation skills with regards to that. The hot and cold kitchen, that's usually under normal circumstances, that's when we run a restaurant. But for the first block, it'll be in a classroom base. So again, the food won't change, the range won't change. It's still an in-depth range. You'll be covering everything from game to poultry. That will be the fish, the meats, the butchery skills that you need within a kitchen brigade. You'll learn all about making patties, pies, all these type things that you'll need larder work wise. And what happens with this one, again, it's assessed as an assessment at the end where you'll have to come up with a menu of your choosing, working in conjunction with your lecturer, using seasonal produce and within a budget, and we'll serve that to a 40-seater cover restaurant. So it's working as part of your team to produce that menu, but predominantly it's your own menu. Hospitality financial control systems, well, in any busy kitchen or any environment or hospitality environment, you've got to make money. That's what it's basically all about. So you've got to learn the pitfalls that's involved with that, with regards to costing, food costs, how it costs your menu, how it costs your recipe, making money with regards to anything that you put on the menu. That leads into patisserie. Now, patisserie is slightly different from the sweets and desserts, although it's a crossover in the actual, some of the foods that you're producing. It's more designed for the finer points of like the sweets and desserts. So you'll learn about chocolate work, you'll learn about sugar work, different glazes that you have to use. And if you can think of afternoon teas, all these little beautiful dishes that's available for an afternoon tea, you'll learn how to do all these, the different fillings that go into them and how to present them for an afternoon tea. Then we have our graded unit, and what that does is that pulls all the knowledge that you've learned over the course of the year, and it's an assessment basically, and that determines your overall grade for your HNC. So what you have to do with that is it's broken down into 3 different categories. So you have a planning stage, a development stage, and then you have an evaluation stage. So you'll come up and working in conjunction with your lecturer again, which will probably be myself. You have to come up with a menu for a chosen brief. It could be a wedding, it could be something that we choose together. Again, you have to do that within a budget. But the difference with this one compared to the hot and cold kitchen is you have to produce that menu yourself within a chosen time frame. So we work together to put something together for that. And then obviously we'll have members of the public who will give you feedback on your actual menu along with your course tutor or your lecturer in there that's doing that with you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass you on to my colleague Roz, and she'll give you a little insight into the HND.
It's actually Karine, I think, that's going to do the next one.
Yeah, I'll go first.
Sorry about that.
So the management of food and beverage operations, this unit's it's a big unit, it's over the whole 3 blocks. And you'll be developing an operational plan for a food and beverage service which will be set within college, and it'll be in Themes Training Restaurant. That's where it'll take place. And as the title suggests, you'll need to demonstrate management and leadership skills in the planning of the event, the running of the event, and in the evaluation of the event. And I'll just pass you back to Willie now to go through the production cookery.
So as the team runs through the HND, it's more management, it's integrating different units, it's actually looking after the whole management of an event. So they sort of tie themselves into it, and with that we'll have integrated production cookery, where you'll you'll work with the lecturer, again, it'll probably be myself, and where in the HNC you chose a menu, you would have to work towards a menu that's given to you. But it's not just about supervising the kitchen, it's supervising the front of house as well. So the responsibility becomes bigger, the challenges become bigger, but it's more for people to see a holistic view of how a restaurant would run. Kitchen plan design, whether you're designing your own food truck or you're redesigning a kitchen, you've got to know what happens with legislation, and that includes things like ventilation, electricity, drainage. You've got to know all these facts, because at the end of the day, if you are starting up your own business, that's what you want to do. Sometimes you have to redesign a kitchen to suit your business needs, and that's understanding the pitfalls and how to avoid them and the legislation that goes along with that. Leads on to hospitality financial accounting. Again, this is ideal for people who maybe want to start up their own business and understand not just about what's involved with costing, but how to do the costing. So you'll be working with Sage, these different sort of softwares for computers, and that's outsourced with one of the colleagues in a different department. But you know, it's all based around the hospitality sector. Human resources. What that basically involves is understanding legislation while you're working as an employee, whether you're employing people. There is a lot of legislation. It's a bit of a minefield out there. You want to make sure everybody's treated fairly, and it's understand all the legislation that goes along with employability. So the next one, I'll pass you over to Ros again.
Yeah, so the next one is the hospitality industry. So this investigates the main features of the hospitality industry, and it looks at different sectors and job roles and the structure of different types of businesses. You research current issues and trends, and obviously this changes every year because issues and trends change every year, but this year will be different to any other that we could have and any that we could have imagined with the impact of COVID. So we'll be looking at how industries are having to adapt to the new guidelines and regulations. And we also found out about marketing and the importance of it in the hospitality industry. We've got close links with the Old Course Hotel, and for the last 2 years we've been on a tour of the hotel and given a presentation by the marketing manager. So we found out about who their target market is and how they reach them, also how they forecast demand. The next unit is gastronomy, which is a double unit. Gastronomy can be defined as the science and art of food and drink, or the art of choosing, buying, preparing, cooking and eating food. So which sounds absolutely brilliant, I think. There's different types of service and menus you investigate, and you look at the factors that have to be considered when menu planning. You also have to evaluate your menus, not just by looking and tasting it, but using all your different senses. So we look a bit into sensory evaluation of food and drink. Food, obviously, I've just said food and drink, it's all classed together. So we look at pairing beverages with food. There's a large consideration for wines, but also other drinks, both alcoholic and non-alcoholic. You look at how the flavours work well with the food, or don't work well, as the case may be. The last assessment in that gastronomy is a restaurant review. You have to go to a restaurant and you have to review the restaurant. So we look at lots of different reviews throughout the year, keep sort of on top of reviews of restaurants, and then we go to a fine dining restaurant. So we've been to, well, we went to the Har last year in St Andrews, we've been to the Peter Inn, and we've been to the Cellar in Anstruther, so that's a real treat. Alcoholic beverages. So this investigates different types of alcoholic beverages, and it's their origin and production methods and characteristics, and also ways to serve them. So you have to be able to demonstrate an understanding of the principal considerations involved in advising or recommending alcoholic beverages. So as a sommelier would in a restaurant, you have to be able to sort of sell that drink to somebody and understand the flavours and how it works well with the food. And the last one, the graded unit, that is, as Willie said, like the HNC, it brings all the other units together that you've done in HNC and HND. So it's bringing all your skills and knowledge together. This isn't a practical unit, it's a theory unit, and you're given a case study of how to turn a business around. So using everything that you've learned for the final grade. I've got a frog in my throat, sorry. Okay, now what are we doing now? Sorry, what's the next? Oh yes, it's over to Corinne, I think. Yeah.
So as well as your coursework, you'll be given opportunities for industry experience. We've got lots of links and contacts with different local establishments in the industry, including the PN, the Adamson, that's one of our ex-students doing cocktails at a function, and Campbell Estate as well. The barista skills is something all students can have basic training on, and if you're doing your level 2 diploma, you have the opportunity to complete a City and Guilds level 2 award in addition to your level 2 diploma group award. We also deliver bar training to all students. As Themes Training Restaurant is licensed, and the Licensing Act in Scotland states that all servers of alcohol must complete this, you will complete a minimum of 2 hours mandatory bar training. These are all things that are relevant to industry, all these little extras. I'm just going to pass you over to Willie to talk about our facilities.
Okay, thanks for that, Corinne. So, why should you come to SRUC? Well, apart from having fantastic tutors, fantastic course makeup, we also have fantastic facilities. We're very proud of our facilities. What we have is, we call it a realistic working environment. So we have a kitchen that's suited for serving a 40-cover restaurant. So all the equipment you find in there, the service, how the service runs, is exactly as you would see in a busy, well-managed kitchen. We also have another kitchen that we call our bakery, and that's set up slightly different. That's where we do a lot of the individual assessments, but also that's where we learn how to make the different breads. We have the Tom Chandler ovens, we have the huge mix machines. So I mean, it's people who may want to touch on looking for a bakery avenue as a career path. So it's as you would find in a bakery, but it's suitable for both types of kitchens. We also have a lovely 40-seater restaurant. We have a fantastic view over the whole of Cooper, very popular with our customers who are invited into the restaurant. We have a fantastic customer base who more than love coming in when they're allowed to, with regards to sampling the students' foods. We also have a small bistro. That's mainly set up for when we work with the schools. It's more an informal type of dining experience. For smaller parties, we use that for private dining as well, whether it's raising money for a charity, a lunch, a breakfast, we have that as well. So also we have our Elmwood Fairways Golf Club. I don't know if anybody knows, but we do have our own golf club as well. And up there, the students gain experience working in a practical environment in the golf club. We're very proud, because we're a rural college, we're a lot luckier than most people. We have fantastic departments that work with us, and we're happy to work with them as well. One of them is a gamekeeping department, and as it suggests, when it's in season, the game comes into the kitchen. The picture on the right there shows you in its raw state. So that's how it comes in. Our students learn how to prepare it. That's what it ends up like in the top picture, and we also show you how to cook game as well. So it's a very versatile and fantastic produce to work with, and we show you how to get the best out of that while it's in season. We also lucky to have a horticulture department, which is right next to us. They have their own greenhouses, they have the polytunnels, they have the allotments, so where possible they'll grow as much food for us as we can possibly use, which we do use quite a lot of. Even down to the edible flowers will grow for us. Some more of the exotic fruits that's available to us as well. And again, because we try and cover the seasons, that's what we try and follow as well with our menus. Countryside management. Now, this guy shown us in the picture there, that's Tony. What he doesn't know about foraging, there's no need to know. He'll take us out, he'll take our students out, he'll show you what you can eat, what you can't eat. The picture of the mushroom there's some mushrooms that you'll only eat once. He'll show you all about the wild berries, what when you can get these and where to find them. But some of that's a closed secret. He'll not tell us too much where the expensive mushrooms are kept. I'll pass you over to my colleague now, Mark, and he'll tell you a little about consultant.
We're really fortunate in the fact that not only do we collaborate with other departments, educational departments, we also collaborate with consultancy and research within SRUC. Now, we're fortunate enough to be part of the food and drink team. Our primary function of food as part of the food and drink team is in new product development, or NPD, formulation or reformulation of products, production of prototypes. This is mainly done for SMEs, small medium enterprises, and it's done through the innovation voucher through interface. Students have an opportunity to take part in these projects and be part of the sessions. We do between 8 to 10 of these projects a year. Over the last 4 to 5 years, we have developed tonic waters, fermented drinks, low-fat sugar and confectionery, plant-based chocolates, sugar-free chocolates, sauces, chutneys, distilled non-alcoholic and alcoholic drinks, whiskey, liqueurs. That's to name but a few. If you go around the supermarket with us, we can show you our products. We collaborate with other sectors of the food and drink manufacturing supply chain as well. In previous year, 2 students were given the opportunity to work on a live brief with a salmon manufacturer based up in Inverness, and to be part of that manufacturer's presentation to a major supermarket. Another area of collaboration is food and drink research. We work a lot on the functionality of foods with the Rowett Institute, Aberdeen University, Queen Margaret University, and we're developing links with Abertay University. Some of our students have gone on to study food and nutrition and food and consumer science at Abertay once completing their HND. As an organisation, SRUC is really keen to promote its entrepreneurial skills. So if you fancy working for yourself or have never even considered it, maybe this is an option, we can help you. And as you can see in the picture, we have a sensory lab, the only one of its kind in Scotland, which we are fortunate enough to have based at Elmwood. And again, it's used for our students for teaching purposes and also as part of the business side of it as well, allowing our customers to consumer taste test their products. And then if I can hand over to Willie, I believe.
Yes, thank you very much, Mark. That's fantastic. So if you're Scottish, you've heard of St Andrews. What we have is a Save of St Andrews dinner. Now, what's involved with that is all the local businesses come together to produce a meal, a dinner. It's to celebrate the whole St Andrews theme, Scottish produce, and what they want to do is they want to get our students involved. So each of the members are given a course, and our students will be working closely with these chefs and manufacturers to actually highlight the produce and let the produce shine on a dinner, a very prestigious dinner, I must add, on St Andrews Day. What happens with that as well is the money that's raised goes towards a student bursary. So it's whether it's for a student going off to a work placement somewhere like France, if they want to work in a patisserie, or it's used towards going for a group trip. So it's a really worthwhile cause. The chefs are absolutely fantastic. They love working with our students, and it's a brilliant opportunity for our students to be involved with that. We also have a thing called a Chef's Taster Lunch. Again, it's open to members of the public. It's held in the Old Course Hotel. And people buy tickets, and what they do is they go around and they sample some of the foods that's available in the local restaurants. And again, our students work very closely with these chefs on the actual day. So I'll pass you to my colleague. He'll tell you a little bit about our Scottish Food and Drink Awards that we hold.
So as part of our collaboration with the food and drink team, we're fortunate enough to host the judging for the Scottish Food Oscars, as they are, the Scottish Food and Drink Awards. For many years now, we've held this. It's an annual event, though we didn't do it last year for obvious reasons. And as a student, you'll have the opportunity to take part in this, to help prepare, cook, serve, and even sample over 150 different foods in 9 categories over 2 days. You'll get an opportunity to meet the judges. You'll get an opportunity to do a little bit of networking. I mean, it's a really interesting day, and just shows the wide diversity of opportunities within the food and drink industry, which we are really keen to promote. So
some of the things, we don't just keep it tied to the kitchens, the stoves, the classrooms. What we do is we're trying to get out there as well. Let's just see what's available. the different types of hotels, different food producers, it's out there. And what we do is we take the students to as many a diverse range of people as we can, ranging from the Old Course, Rufflets, we'll go to the Buffalo Farm, Campbell Estate, we'll take you up to see Campbell's meat producers, fish producers, Fairmont, we'll go to distilleries, and that's just so you can actually see what's on your doorstep and actually speak to the producers, the manufacturers, get their insight into the industry, where they see it going and where they think the students can be involved. And again, we've mentioned the bursary from the Save of St Andrews. So we do like to get our students sampling foods from different countries. So we do force you with some of the groups, HNCs and HNDs, a little bit of fundraising has to be incorporated into this. And we try and rough it as much as possible, going to places like Paris and Nice, and let the students experience a different food culture within a country. So again, like our taking you out the classroom environment, we do have chefs who want to work with our students, and these are chefs that are specialists. So in this one, we have a chocolatier, Shona. She's on the Scottish culinary team, and she comes in and she works with her students, and she shows them the finer points of making handmade chocolates, how to finish chocolates, templates, all that sort of thing. So it's absolutely superb for us to have these chefs who want to come in and be involved with our students.
Competitions. We here at Elmwood, we view competitions as an important part of the student experience. We don't force you to do them, but we do recommend them. They're a great opportunity for you to test yourselves. You can enter in-house competitions, local, regional and national competitions, either working as an individual or part of a team. We collaborate with students from other departments, such as gamekeeping in the BACS game competition. We believe that competitions not only allow you to test your skills against fellow students, but give you the opportunity to develop new skills, to build your confidence, and offer a chance to meet people at the very top of the industry, as well as winning some fantastic prizes. It's worth remembering, though, that these competitions are student-led. You leaders, you tell us what you want to do, and we are there to assist you, guide you, and mentor you. You know, we have a really good track record entering competitions, and we're quite proud of what we've done for a college of our size. So why not give it a go? What have you got to lose?
Perfect. So a student alumni, once you're part of our family, and that's what we think the students are, as a family, but we want you to be involved in all aspects of college life, and even when you leave, we're still involved with you. We've got so much contact with past students, it's absolutely unbelievable. And you know, you'll see past students popping in that could be with just getting a little bit of advice, or maybe want to get a wee hand putting together a menu or a recipe. So we're close contact with a lot of the students who have passed through our doors, and very proud of the fact that they still want to come and speak to us. So this little pop up here, I'm going to pass you to my colleague Mark, because it's not just about being a chef.
No, we're really keen, and I think that there's never been a more important time, such as post-COVID, to show the diversification within food and drink. If any business is going to survive, or any industry is going to survive, the key word is diversification, and we believe that food and drink fits this perfectly. You know, professional cookery is just qualification. It's a gateway to a whole vibrant, exciting industry that is really up there. Food and drink will allow you to do this. So really through post education, through your HNC, HND, you may well decide that you want to go on and study some more. So you could end up going to Abertay or Queen Margaret University, or maybe if you fancy staying with SRUC, we do a rural enterprise degree, and this does include modules in food and drink. You might decide that you want to go into education to become a lecturer or a teacher, home economics. Again, you can do this. You may well decide that manufacturing is the way to go. So you might want to make products, either your own products, or you might want to go and work as part of a large food manufacturer, and they are looking for things like food technologists, food scientists, food processors, food buyers. You might decide you want to go and buy food for people, supply chain managers, dietitians, development chefs, consultants. All this can be done with it. Food and drink is a perfect fit for the budding entrepreneurs. So if you fancy food blogging, restaurant critics, food photographers, food stylists, where do you think all the pretty pictures come from you see in the books and in magazines? You might decide that, I really don't want to work for other people. And as I said previously, food and drink is a wonderful fit for if you want to be an entrepreneur, to work for yourselves. We have students who have done that, who have gone on to set up their own businesses, maybe in a food truck or a pop-up, or maybe make your own range of products, private catering, supper clubs. In the past, it was always thought as so difficult to set up your own restaurant or hotel. Now you have so many options, and food and drink, a professional cookery qualification, really is the roots to an amazing tree of opportunity. But if you just want to be a chef, we do that as well.
Thanks for that, Mark. So
not a problem.
We know we're good. We'll have our past students tell us we're good as well. But what you can do is you can look at our Instagram or our Facebook. Now, I'm fantastic at IT, but I have to pass this over to our mentor, Karine, because she's brilliant. She's responsible for keeping our Instagram and Facebook up to date with the exciting things that the students are doing. You can see some of the work that's up there. So you just have to go in there and you can see the comments that the students are putting up for their food and all the other bits and pieces. So that's how you would get in touch with us. So I'll now pass you over to Caroline, is it?
Thanks, Willie. That was really interesting. I'm going to go straight to the questions that we've got in now. So thanks again if you have got in touch this afternoon or emailed me before today's event. The first one says, what PPE and equipment does the college provide? Willie, would you like to cover that?
Yeah. Well, for the first and second year, because it's bursary funded, your chef whites, your aprons, all the things that you require, safety shoes, are supplied with regards to the bursary. And the people that have signed up to that, what happens is they'll get a letter or an email requesting their sizes, and then the PPE will be delivered to them prior to them actually starting the course. So you've got all your equipment, everything else that you need for that. But also included in the bursary will be your textbooks that we use. All the knives, everything like that are all provided in the kitchen as well. So, I mean, if there's anything, if you want to get your own knife sets or anything like that, speak to us first. We get fantastic discount for most of our suppliers. But the PPE is supplied. The HNCs is slightly different. They're responsible for their own PPE. But again, if they're having problems with that, they would contact myself, and then we can get an arrangement done for them to get in touch with our suppliers.
That's great, thanks, Willie. The next question I have is, how will things look when we go back in September? Who would like to answer that one?
I can answer that one if you want to. At the moment, we're planning on having each group in for a full day to do practicals. So don't worry, you will be in the kitchens, because obviously we realise that's a massive part of our courses. They are very practically based. So it's going to look like, as I said, each year group will go in for a full day of practicals, and then a lot of the theory units will be delivered online. But there's nothing to worry about. We're working on it. And as I say, you'll be in college one day a week. So, if you've got any real problems, you can always ask Willie and Mark, who will be in when the practicals. And, and we're sort of, and the rest, as I say, it's called blended learning. So a bit of everything we're doing.
That's great. Thanks, Ross. Just on that topic as well, Hayden's been in touch asking when are the courses starting?
28th of September, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, so induction week on the 21st, induction week 21st, which hopefully will meet you in induction week, and you'll find out a bit more about everything. And then the actual lessons start on the 28th, that's Monday the 28th of September.
That's great. Has another one's come through just now. When in the kitchen, do we get split up into groups, or do we get split up into groups before we go into the kitchen?
Well, what we have to do is that it's paramount it would keep everybody safe, and then we comply with legislation. So anybody that's been with us before may have realised that there's maybe 12, 13 people in a class. Again, that's not going to happen because of safe distancing. What we'll do is the class will be split up. Now, I can't tell you who's got to be in which class yet because we'll have to wait until everybody's enrolled, but we are following the guidelines, and we are trying to keep everybody as safe as possible, including the staff. So yes, the groups will be smaller, there will be safe distancing, and they will be in smaller groups.
That's great. Someone else has just asked, how many days a week would I expect to be in college?
Well, as Ros just says, the practicals for each year group will be 1 full day. The other parts will be blended learning. Now, that's what we put down in block 1. Things may change as restrictions are lifted. So, but, you know, we'll have to have something in place, something positive to start off with, and it will be each year group will be in for 1 full practical session, 1 day for the practical sessions. And again, we're just finalising the timetables, but all that will be given to the students prior to induction. So we'll know about the timetables and the units that they're going to be doing. But again, we're following the Scottish Government with regards to this. So if restrictions are lifted within the start of block 2, then obviously things will be tweaked and changed slightly.
That's great, thanks, Willie. The next question I have is, are there work placements, and do we organise our own work placements, or can the college help us with this?
Do you want me to say?
Yeah.
The work placements, the only course that actually has a work placement unit is the HND course. But I mean, we have people contacting us all the time asking for people if we've got any students that can work at certain places, and if anybody particularly wants a sort of work placement, we can always arrange it. So it's on a sort of individual basis, apart from the HMDs who have to do it. But we've got lots of contacts in industry, and we can always arrange something.
That's great, thanks, Joz. Another one, I think, Willie, this one for you. Can you recommend a cookery book?
Well, it's like there's so many cookery books out there, so any cookery book is fantastic. But if you go and look at something like Nisbet's, what they have is they have college books, or books that are suitable for college students, and they're mainly practical. They have the photographs, it's all the classic dishes. They have instruction how to butcher meat and fillet fish. So the practical cookery ones, Cessaran and Kinton ones, these are all fantastic there. But they are available if you go into the Nisbet's website, for example. It will say suitable books or textbooks for students. So any of these ones. But bear in mind that most of we're trying to cut down on the paper copies and things like that, but all the courses have handouts associated with each of the units that we're doing anyway. But it's always great to have a book of your own on the shelf. But any one is brilliant, but these practical ones will probably do more for you at the beginning.
Great, thanks, Willie. Next question is my question, and I'm going to ask it to all of you. What is your favourite part of the course to teach? So I'm going to put that one to Mark first.
Oh, the practical skills, because that's all I do. So yeah, the practical skills in the kitchen. Keep me out of the classroom. Don't want me in a classroom. You want me in a kitchen. Safer there.
Great, thanks, Mark. And what about you, Corrine?
Planning and organising any events with the students is my favourite. Restaurant day is my favourite. So hopefully, when restrictions get lifted, we'll get a restaurant back up and running, because that's my favourite day of the week.
Me, I'm sorry. Is it Ros or me?
I've put Ros up.
All right.
Oh, okay. I like. Well, I always say this and everyone groans, but I do like my food safety units. I really like teaching food safety. Yeah, yawn, everyone. And I do love, I have to say, gastronomy. And Mark just said he doesn't like theory units because you're in the classroom. But I have to say, we do lots of trips to places so you can learn through going to. I mean, how better to learn about how whiskey is made than going to a distillery and things like that. So try and think of good ways to learn about theory. But gastronomy is probably my favourite unit. Yeah.
Thanks, Ros. And what about you, Willie?
Well, I'm passionate about food hygiene and IT, so but yeah, no, I love working with game. I love working with fish, but lockdown's been a long time. I miss my kitchen so much, and I'd be quite happy to do the cleaning, you know. But I love any of the units that I teach. It's just a fantastic environment once we get the students in there working, you know, working as a team, chatting away, coming up with dishes, producing dishes. It's brilliant. It's even better when the customers get to appreciate it. So any practical is good for me, on top of my IT.
Thanks, Zoe. Well, that brings our questions to an end there. So thank you very much if you got in touch this afternoon, and thanks for joining us. I'm now going to pass over to Ros to close the event.
Okay, thanks, Caroline. Well, thank you all for listening this afternoon. We hope we've given you a bit of an insight into the courses that we deliver and the units, and also the staff. So we hope we haven't put you off too much. We're really excited to start the new year, and as we said, it's going to be a little bit different, but it's still going to be exciting. We've just got to adapt a bit, as has the hospitality industry as a whole, really. If you've got any questions, as Caroline said, you can get in touch with us by the various ways that has been mentioned. So we look forward to seeing everybody very soon. Thank you.